Do you know why you're still not profitable? Why you revenge trade? Why you move your stop loss? Why you break your plan even after promising yourself that this time will be different? Most traders believe the problem is strategy. They search for new indicators, new systems, new signals. But the truth is far more disturbing, because the real enemy is not on the chart. It's inside your mind. Every trader carries something invisible into the market, something that wakes up the moment the trade goes against them. A voice, a pressure, a dark impulse that whispers, "Don't close the trade, it will come back. Just one more trade to recover. Double the lot size, you deserve to win it back." And suddenly, you are no longer trading. You are fighting something inside yourself. Think about the last time you revenge traded. The market hit your stop loss. You felt the pain immediately, not just financial pain, but emotional pain. Your ego felt attacked. Your mind refused to accept the loss. And within seconds, you opened another trade. Not because it followed your plan, not because the setup was clear, but because something inside you demanded revenge. And that is the exact moment discipline dies. The market has destroyed millions of traders this way, not because they were stupid, not because they lacked intelligence, but because they never learned to control their internal demons. Fear, greed, impatience, ego. These forces are silent. You cannot see them on the chart, but they control more accounts than any market crash ever will. The frightening truth is this: your strategy might actually work. Your analysis might be correct. Your trading plan might be solid. But if your mind is not controlled, your own emotions will sabotage every good decision you make, and the market will expose that weakness again and again. Before entering your next trade, stop for a moment. Pause your mouse, look at the chart, and ask yourself one simple but powerful question. Am I following my plan? Not, can I recover my last loss? Not, does this trade feel exciting? But only this: does this trade align with my plan? If the answer is no, close the platform, because the trade you are about to take is not a strategy, it's emotion disguised as opportunity. Now let me ask you something honestly. Do you feel that pressure before entering a trade? That tension in your chest? That urge to click quickly? That voice telling you this trade must win? I know you felt it. Every trader has. But the traders who become profitable are the ones who learn to recognize that moment and refuse to obey it. Because the moment you obey emotion, you lose control. And once control disappears, losses begin to multiply. Tell me something in the comments. Where are you watching this video from? And more importantly, what do you feel before you enter a trade? Is it fear, pressure, excitement, or the urge to recover losses? And how do you feel after the trade closes? Write it in the comments, because sometimes the first step to mastering your mind is simply admitting what it's doing to you. And if you want to learn how to defeat those inner trading demons, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, because here we talk about the one thing most traders ignore: the psychology behind every trade you take. And mastering that is what separates losing traders from the few who survive the market. There is something else most traders never realize. Something subtle, something dangerous. And it appears when you think you are in control. You open a trade. At first, everything feels calm. The setup looked perfect. The risk was calculated. You told yourself you would follow the plan this time. But then, the candle moves slightly against you. Not much, just a little. And suddenly, your mind begins to change. Your breathing becomes heavier. Your eyes lock onto every tiny movement of the price. The same plan that felt logical 5 minutes ago now begins to feel uncertain. And that is when the internal battle begins. One part of you says, "Relax, the trade is still valid." But another voice starts whispering, "What if you're wrong? What if this loss is bigger than the last one? What if the market collapses right now?" And that voice becomes louder the longer the trade stays open. This is how fear slowly takes control, not instantly, but gradually. First, you start watching the chart too closely. Then you start imagining worst-case scenarios. Then your finger moves toward the mouse, and before you even realize it, you close the trade early. You take a small profit or a small loss, and you tell yourself it was the smart decision. But minutes later, the market continues exactly as your plan predicted. Your original take-profit gets hit. The trade would have worked, but you didn't let it. Your emotions closed the trade before the market could reward your discipline. Now something even more dangerous happens: regret. And regret is one of the most destructive emotions in trading, because regret creates anger, and anger creates revenge. You look at the chart again. The market is still moving. You feel like you were right all along, and your mind begins to scream, "You missed it. You should have stayed in. Get back in now." So you enter again. But this time, the setup is gone. The structure has changed. The risk is worse. But your mind is no longer thinking clearly. You are chasing the feeling you lost. And this is how a perfectly good trading day turns into a disaster. The most dangerous thing about trading is not the market. It's the speed at which emotions can take control. One moment you are disciplined. The next moment you are impulsive. One moment you are calm. The next moment you are chasing losses. And if you don't recognize this transformation, it will happen again and again and again until your account is gone. Professional traders understand something most beginners ignore. They know that the real job of a trader is not predicting the market, it's protecting the mind. Because the mind is where every bad decision is born. And if you cannot control the mind, you cannot control the trades. The market will test you every single day. It will tempt you with opportunities that look too good. It will scare you with sudden losses. It will frustrate you with slow movement. And every one of these situations will activate something inside you: fear, greed, impatience, ego. These are the forces you must defeat, not once, but every single day you sit in front of the chart. So the next time you open your trading platform, remember this: you are not just analyzing the market, you are also confronting yourself, your patience, your discipline, your emotional stability. Because every trade is more than a financial decision, it is a psychological decision. And the traders who learn to control that moment are the ones who finally begin to survive the market. But there's an even darker moment in trading, a moment that most traders never talk about. It doesn't happen when the market crashes. It doesn't happen when you lose a trade. It happens after a series of losses, when your confidence slowly begins to disappear. At first you tell yourself it's normal, losses happen. You try to stay calm, you try to follow the plan, but then another trade loses, and another one, and another. And suddenly something inside you begins to change. Not your strategy, not the market, you. Your trust in yourself starts to break. You begin to question every decision. Every setup suddenly looks dangerous. Every entry feels wrong. And when confidence disappears, two dangerous paths appear. The first path is fear. You stop taking good trades. You hesitate. You watch perfect setups move without you. The market runs exactly the way you predicted, but you were too afraid to enter. So you sit there, watching, feeling powerless. But the second path is even worse: revenge. Because the moment fear turns into frustration, your mind wants to recover everything immediately. Your discipline disappears, your patience disappears, and suddenly you are no longer trading a strategy, you are trading emotion. You increase the lot size, you enter trades faster, you ignore confirmation, and you tell yourself, this one will fix everything. But it never does, because trades taken from anger are rarely logical, and the market punishes emotional decisions without mercy. This is where many traders lose their accounts, not because of one bad trade, but because of one emotional spiral. A spiral that begins with a small loss, then grows into frustration, then becomes revenge trading, and finally ends with destruction. And the most painful part? Deep inside, you know what you're doing is wrong. You can feel it. You know the trade does not follow your plan. You know the risk is too high, but something inside you refuses to stop. And that is the moment the inner demons of trading take control. Fear, greed, ego, the need to be right, the need to recover losses. These forces are powerful, stronger than logic, stronger than analysis, stronger than strategy. That is why becoming a profitable trader is not just about learning the market. It's about learning yourself, learning when your mind is calm, learning when your emotions are taking control, learning when you should stop trading completely. Because sometimes the most powerful decision a trader can make is closing the platform, walking away, and protecting their mind from making another emotional decision. Professional traders understand something most beginners ignore. Not every day is a trading day. Some days the market is chaotic. Some days your emotions are unstable. Some days your mind is simply not clear. And on those days, the smartest move is no move at all. Because discipline is not only about following rules, it's about knowing when not to play the game. But here is the powerful truth that most traders never hear. Those inner demons can be defeated, not by fighting them, but by recognizing them. The moment you notice fear controlling your decisions, pause. The moment you feel the urge to revenge trade, pause. The moment you feel anger after a loss, pause. Because awareness is the first weapon against emotional destruction. And the traders who learn to pause in those moments are the ones who slowly regain control of their decisions. And once control returns, discipline returns, patience returns, and slowly consistency begins to appear. But there is something even more uncomfortable that every trader must eventually face. A realization that many people try to avoid. The market is not your enemy. It is a mirror. Every weakness you have, it will expose. If you are impatient in life, the market will reveal it. If you struggle with discipline, the market will punish it. If you cannot accept small losses, the market will magnify that weakness until it becomes unbearable. Trading has a strange power. It forces you to confront parts of your personality you may have ignored for years. Your ego, your fear, your need to be right, your inability to accept uncertainty. And when those weaknesses appear in front of a chart, they become expensive. Think about how many traders refuse to accept a loss. The stop loss is there. The rule is clear. The plan was written before the trade even started. But when the price approaches that stop, the mind begins negotiating. Maybe I should move it a little. The market will come back. It's just temporary. And that single decision, that tiny act of disobedience, begins a chain reaction. The loss grows bigger, stress increases, and the moment the trader finally closes the trade, the damage is far worse than it should have been. Not because the strategy failed, but because discipline disappeared. This is why professional traders respect something beginners hate: small losses. To most traders, a loss feels like failure, like a mistake, like proof that they were wrong. But professionals see it differently. To them, a small loss is simply the cost of participation, the cost of staying in the game. Because trading is not about winning every trade. It's about surviving long enough for the probabilities to work in your favor. And survival requires something many traders never develop: emotional stability. When the market moves against you, can you stay calm? When a trade fails, can you accept it without anger? When a setup appears again, can you take it without fear? These questions may seem simple, but they separate the traders who survive from those who disappear, because the market rewards consistency, not perfection, not excitement, not constant action, consistency. Most traders believe success comes from finding the perfect setup, the perfect indicator, the perfect strategy. But the truth is far simpler and far harder. Success in trading comes from mastering the moment before you click the mouse. That single moment where emotion tries to override discipline. That moment where the inner voice says, "Just do it." And the disciplined trader responds, "No, not unless it follows the plan." That moment, repeated hundreds of times, is what eventually builds consistency. And here is something very few traders are prepared to hear. The market does not care about your hopes. It does not care about your financial goals. It does not care how badly you want to win. The market simply moves. Up, down, sideways, without emotion, without mercy, without explanation. And the traders who survive are the ones who learn to become just as neutral, calm, patient, disciplined, not reacting to every movement, but waiting for the moment when their plan says now. Because in trading, power does not belong to the fastest trader or the most aggressive one. It belongs to the one who can sit quietly while everyone else loses control. And here is the lesson most traders learn too late. The market will test you. Not just your strategy, but your discipline, your patience, your emotional control. Every single trade you take is a decision between two versions of yourself. One version is emotional. It wants quick money. It wants revenge after a loss. It wants excitement. That version is impatient, impulsive, and dangerous. The other version is calm. It follows the plan. It respects risk management. It accepts losses without anger. And it understands that consistency is built slowly, trade after trade. The truth is, every time you click the mouse, you are choosing which version of yourself will control the outcome. Not the market, not the strategy, you. So the next time you open your trading platform and see an opportunity, pause for a moment, take a breath, and ask yourself one powerful question. Am I following my plan, or am I following my emotions? Because that one question can protect you from hundreds of unnecessary losses, and over time, it can transform the way you trade completely. Now I want to hear from you. Where are you watching this video from? And tell me honestly, what is the biggest psychological challenge you face in trading? Is it fear before entering a trade? Is it revenge trading after a loss? Or is it patience, waiting for the right setup? Write it in the comments section below. Your experience might help another trader who is going through the same struggle. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Because here we talk about the one thing that truly separates profitable traders from everyone else, the psychology behind every decision you make in the market. And mastering that is what turns an ordinary trader into a disciplined one.